Welcome. Is everything in your life working out for you? Is everything in your life happening for a reason? And if so, are you being guided exactly where you need to be? I believe that this is partially true. I believe that we do have a destiny that awaits us. There is a timeline, a certain trajectory for us to live on that is very soulful and purposeful. But I think if we don't open to this, if we don't open to our true nature, if we don't open to the now moment, the all that is, then we won't be on this path, in my perspective. We won't be following this purpose, this destiny that is awaiting us, that is calling us. And if we close off to this, if we close off and follow the ego, follow the egoic games that this world is built up on, the desires, the wanting, the thriving, the needing, the fighting, the jealousy, the hatred, the competing and the comparison, all of the games of the ego, if we continue to play those games, then I feel as though we step out of this connection to our true nature. We step out of the flow with the divine. And when we step out of this flow, we're not connected to our divine purpose in that moment. And it doesn't mean we can't come back to our divine purpose. It doesn't mean that there's a timing to that. That we may need to learn as an ego. We may need to make mistakes. We may need to obtain all the things that we think we want is going to fulfill us. We may get all these things. And maybe we'll get all these things. We may get money, we may get relationships, we may get experiences. And we see that these experiences pass. They aren't fulfilling us. They never fulfill us. And the only thing that does fulfill us is when we are connected to our soul's purpose. When we are connected to the divine, the essence, the now moment. When we are connected to that, it's very powerful. And things will unfold on their own just by us being connected to that. So when we are connected to that, we have to be open. We have to open into this. We can't close into the ego. We can't close into those games. We have to be open to connect. And meditation is a beautiful way for you to connect to your essence, along with a lot of other modalities. And when you connect to your essence and you stay open to the essence, not just on the mat, but in your life, when you stay open to that, you're listening, you're receiving, and you're trusting what the universe, what this flow of essence wants to guide you towards. Where does it want to lead you? And you have to be open and then trust what's coming through. And this can be very difficult, especially if you're very identified with your ego, and we get very attached to the ways of conditioning, the ways of other people's lives, what's right and what's wrong, the way we should be doing things. We get told by our parents, our friends, our family. We get told by the media, we get told by schooling, television, radio. We get told everywhere how we should live our life, what's the right way, what's the wrong way. And when we try and fall into this construct of trying to fit in, trying to do what everyone else is doing, we lose connection with our own essence that is guiding us to our unique destiny, our unique purpose in each now moment. And that guiding may change. You may be guided in one direction, and then another now moment you may be guided in another direction. So this is always going to change, and there's what I like to call a sweet spot that you find. And of course, our egoic nature, our mind's going to get attached to the way things are. We like familiarity, we like things to be habitual. It's safe, it works. But when we're connected to the Tao, when we're connected to this flow, this essence, we need to be able to let go constantly and move into a new direction, follow our heart's calling, following the calling of our intuition, the calling of our essence that is always changing, that is always in flow. So when we open and then we trust, life will unfold for us perfectly as it's supposed to. We will be connected to our destiny. We'll be connected to our divine purpose. So the longer you stay open, the longer you stay connected, and you're willing to make a choice in each moment to choose, do I want to come from a place of love? Do I want to come from a place of higher consciousness? Do I want to come from a place that's connected to the universe? Or do I want to come from a place of lack, a place of scarcity, a place of egoic nature? And that's your choice. You want to stay in that battle, that constant fight, or you want to choose to step into this beautiful nature that doesn't need to fight anymore, that is surrendered, but not surrendered in a weak way. We're surrendering our ego to step into a higher way, a more easy way, a way that's effortless, a way that is connected to God in each step, in each moment, that lights you up, that opens your heart, that gives you joy, that connects you to peace, without a need of a result, without requiring something, without getting an outcome. It's with you in each moment, while you take each step, while you are connected to the essence, while you are connected to this universal flow. You will feel the reward, the gifts, the gold and the treasure in each moment while you are connected to the essence. That is the true reward. The true reward in this incarnation is to be connected to your spirit. And that's essentially what we are wanting from all of these egoic games, all these little pleasures that we seek, these desires. All of it is actually an illusion, because what we are truly wanting is to be connected to our essence. But the ego doesn't understand that. The ego is built in this construct, in this game, where we are programmed and designed to obtain things, to move away from danger, to move towards pleasure, to move away from pain, and move towards community. You know, these basic tribal needs that we have as a human. And of course, they're not all bad. We don't completely let go of the ego identity, but we don't allow it to use us. We don't allow it to dictate our life. We allow our core essence to dictate our life. And then the ego is just used for what is necessary to keep us alive, to keep us safe. You know, the basic bodily functions, the basic needs of having a human vessel. So I thought I'd just share this today, and hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that it gives you an encouragement to stay open and to trust what's coming forward for you when you are connected. Because it's hard to trust what's coming forward for you when you're in your egoic nature, because you're going to get these thoughts, desires. There's going to be a big layer of coverage that's covering your perspective, that's covering that intuitive calling, that's guiding you towards something higher. The egoic nature will cover that and tell you that you need to do this and do that, and this is the right way and that's the wrong way. So once we surrender that, come into a space of peace, come into the space of wholeness, connect to that now moment, then we can trust what's coming forward for us. And this is what may be tricky, and I know it's tricky for me. You know, it's trusting that calling and taking action on that calling. And that may be scary at times. When you listen to that calling and you take action on it, you may lose money. That calling may be telling you to let go of a friendship. It may be telling you to move to a new state, a new country. It may be telling you to leave your job. That calling may be telling you to donate a certain amount of money. So it won't make sense to the mind. The mind even will fight that calling, that intuitive nudge. The mind will tell you logically, that doesn't make sense. We're going to lose money. This job's really good for me. If I break up with this person, or I'm not going to find anyone else. Because the mind is coming from that scarcity program. That program of, we've got what works, let's keep it. Let's attach to it, let's grip onto it. Let's not let it go, because we don't know if we're going to get anything else. And this is our mind, our egoic nature is running off that scarcity program, that tribal program. So we need to, that's why when we step into the Tao, we're stepping into our true nature, and we hear that calling, that mind's going to come through. We need to trust what's higher, trust the truth, not trust our egoic nature, not trust the mind. And eventually, over time, the mind will become less and less and will surrender to our true nature. So it may be very absurd and outlandish what your heart and what your true nature is calling for you to do. But if you can stay open to that, and if you can continue to trust that by taking action, following that calling, then you will live a greater life. You will live a more peaceful life. You will exit these games, these games of the ego that thinks once we get something, we're going to get pleasure and we want this and that. But you know through experience, how many times have you attained something that you thought was going to complete your life and you got it, and then you, within a day or two, maybe a month, you got over it and you wanted something else, or you went back into feeling like, down and this and that. You may have experienced amazing things in your life, but you just haven't been able to arrive and appreciate them and be grateful for them. Because when we're in our egoic nature, it doesn't matter what we get. It's not going to last. It's not going to fulfill us. And it may even not even make you happy. This has happened to me many times when I've been disconnected from my spirit. I just don't appreciate things. I don't arrive to what I already have in life, what is already great, what is already beautiful, what I already have. When I stay in the egoic nature, we're always clinging for more, we're always comparing, upset, thriving. I need this, I need that, it's not enough. So we exit that, through the practices of meditation, through Grounded Space, where Anthony and myself help people to connect more to this essence, so that we can disconnect from the ego, and slowly, slowly it'll start to fade away. Those little games, those little things that we think are going to fulfill us. And this is hard, of course, because we're living in this construct, in this game, in this world, and there are certain rules that go abide. And it sometimes can be helpful to obtain what you want, to see that it wasn't truly what you want, it wasn't truly what your essence wanted. How many times have you, say, eaten a chocolate bar, right? And the first piece of chocolate tastes amazing. The pleasure percentage is like 100%. Then you have the second piece, about 95%. Then you have a third piece, it goes to about 90%. Then you've had say 5 or 10 pieces, and it's dropped that percentage. It's not as enjoyable as the first piece of chocolate. So that pleasure, that enjoyment starts to fade away. And you'll even notice that you get towards the end of the chocolate bar and it becomes like 5% pleasure, and then you don't even enjoy it, and it actually flips. You may eat a lot of chocolate, and then you get sick of it. You want to throw it away. You're like, it's making me it's disgusting. So, these are very similar to the games of the ego. We obtain things, we get things, we think initially it's going to make us feel good, and it does at the start, and then eventually it fades away. It fades away just like the taste of that chocolate bar, and then eventually you get sick of it. You're disgusted by it. It's too much. So by connecting to our essence, we are connecting to true treasure. That is the true treasure. And if we can stay open to this essence that we are, then when we can trust what is coming through, what is calling for us in that moment, taking action on that and stepping in that direction, even if the mind comes in the way and says, don't do it, it's dangerous, or you're going to lose this, you're going to lose that, you're going to lose money, opportunity, all this whatever stuff that you have. This has something way more special than what you can even comprehend. Way more better than what you can even try to manifest. What the ego is even trying to manifest, this is way higher. So trust your essence, stay open, and connect to that moment, connect to that flow, and you will live a life filled with many treasures.